Order. The question is the motion moved by the Leader House for the time of meeting and order of business for tomorrow be agreed to. The Manager of Opposition Business.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, the Leader of the House kindly informed us this morning of this initiative, and even then it was meant to be 1:30. What I do note is that this is about political tactics. The tactics are that the acting Prime Minister, before the Prime Minister gets back on Wednesday, the acting Prime Minister, we can see it because the Chief Government Whip's got a big smile on his face. The political tactic is, before the Prime Minister gets back, the acting Prime Minister wants her moment in the sun, and before question time, so that the government's political message of the day is not derailed, they will introduce their changes to the workplace relations system, come straight out of caucus before anyone who dissents in caucus has a chance to express a view to the media, come into this place and immediately introduce the bills, trying to give the impression that, in fact, the Labor Party is united in its stand on the repeal of work choices. Well, Mr Speaker, look, this is quite clearly part of the political strategy of the government. The fact that the government actually does not stick to the script when it comes to the running of the parliament, the fact that the government is constantly changing the hours of parliament to suit its political purposes is well exemplified by the fact that tomorrow they want to change the hours of the parliament so that they can bring on the political issue of the day and the acting Prime Minister can have her moment in the sun, because surely, during the last few weeks and months, we have seen that the acting Prime Minister has suffered relevance deprivation syndrome and needs for people to take that little part of the Prime Minister's DNA which says, look at me, I'm important, which the Prime Minister has used in relation to conversations with presidents. He's used it as an interpreter between world leaders. He was even witness to those conversations between the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Russia, where the Prime Minister said, look at me, I'm important. And now we have the hours of the parliament changing so that we can all look at the acting Prime Minister, because the acting Prime Minister, suffering relevance deprivation syndrome, says, look at me, I'm changing the workplace relations laws and I'm going to change the hours of the parliament to accommodate this significant moment. It's so significant that they have to change the hours of the parliament. And Mr Speaker, there is only a political motivation here, nothing more than a political motivation, because the government is concerned that it will not be able to get its political message up during question time. Therefore, it has to have a speech before question time so that it can make the news at 5 o'clock, the television news at 5 o'clock and after that. It's interesting, isn't it, Mr Speaker? The normal process is that bills would be introduced on a Thursday. That is the normal process of the House. And even if it is, Mr Speaker, even if it is going to occur that the government would introduce bills outside of the normal requirements of the House, it is usually the case that bills would be introduced after question time, and even so, Mr Speaker, after the matter of public importance. So it normally occurs around 4:30, 4:45, and of course the difficulty for the government tomorrow is that they might not make the TV news if they have to introduce their changes to workplace relations at 4:45 tomorrow afternoon. It is so urgent, given the bill is not being debated tomorrow, it is so urgent that they do it, that they're changing the sitting hours of the parliament. It just smacks of policy on the run. It smacks of the fact that the government is desperately focused on politics rather than policy. Desperately focused on running the politics of the issue rather than focusing on the details of the policy of the issue. And we still wait with bated breath for the legislation, for even the consultation on the legislation, consultation on the details of the legislation. We're all keen to see it, but yet the government, of course, has not provided that draft legislation to us. Therefore, they feel the need to change the sitting hours. You know what, Mr Speaker? I can divide on this I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But I do want to make a point. Look, I'm a fair-minded guy, right? I'm a fair-minded guy. Mr Speaker, well, I've got 10 minutes on my feet here. Mr Speaker, I'm a fair-minded guy. I recognise that the government will ram this through no matter what. I think the parliament should get on with the job of doing what it should be doing. That is governing in the best interests of the Australian people. Therefore, even though we oppose the fact that they're starting parliament early tomorrow simply for political purposes, we'll let this through.